Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Firefly Shiny Dice. Firefly Shiny Dice is a game from Upper Deck. Plays 1 to 5 players in, what's it say, 30 minutes. If you're playing more than 2 players, it's going to go way over 30 minutes. And effectively what this game is it's a push your luck dice game in the universe of Firefly. You know, the Joss Whedon show with Nathan Fillion and, you know, Jane, Mao, Zoe, all that kind of thing. And what you're trying to do is you are trying to roll your good guy dice or your crew dice to effectively defeat all of the foes. And the foes are Badger, Nishka, and Saffron. You know, Saffron, Mao's wife. Yeah, there's a little more to it than that, but at its heart, you're rolling dice to try to defeat other dice to try to end the game with the most points. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go out of the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of Firefly Shiny Dice all set up. To set up, you're going to put the playmat out in the middle of the table, which I've done here. You'll separate the 100-point money cards and the 500-point money cards. The 1, 2, and 3 supply cards, shuffle the mission cards, and just have them hanging out. Then each player is going to get a player screen, which I'm not going to show, but the player screen is super helpful. It has what all the dice do and all that kind of thing on it, but I'm going to keep it over here for me to be able to look at. All right, and then we're going to start playing. The game is pretty easy. So on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to roll all these dice to get started. So let's go ahead and do it and try not to make everything bounce around. All right. Then we're going to sort out according to the bad guys. All right. So we have 4 Nishka, which is not good. A Saffron. These dice. And all of this. All right. After we roll, then what we're going to do is we're going to choose which dice, if any, to re-roll if we have Wash, which is the little blue dinosaur, because he has a dinosaur, or River. Now, Wash is going to let me roll this die plus any other of these dice that I want to roll. And River will let me re-roll a foe, which I want to do because I don't want to have 4 Nishkas. So we have a Badger, that's better. We got another River. And then I'm going to re-roll a couple of these and Wash. All right, so there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lock the dice into place. So the supplies go down here. These are Anara. They fire off right now. They will get $200 immediately. Normally the money goes over to the at-risk pool, but she gives you money immediately. So this player now has $200. All right. Or 200 points, I guess. Then we're going to go ahead and go to the next step. Next, we're going to get a mission. So the next thing you do is you take one of the mission cards from the top and put it in front of you. Missions do a couple things. They require some die faces to complete. They'll give you a reward possibly if you complete it, and they're going to have a keyword. Escape keyword means even if I have foes left, I can, if I complete this mission, I can stop where I'm at, collect all my temporary money, and be done instead of losing out on the points. So that's kind of what's going on there. I'll leave this here so you can see it all right. Now we've done that. Next thing, if the mission had a shiny keyword, we would fire that off, but it doesn't. Think brain. If there were 4 of these left, something bad would happen. If there's 5 of those left, something bad would happen. But since we got rid of 1, nothing happens there. And if we had 1 of 4 different types of crew, which we do, we have Mao. Oh no, we only have 3. We would be able to do 1 damage to a foe, but we haven't done that because we only have 3. So nothing to see there. Next, what we're going to do, now the foes are going to strike. So Nishka, what he does is he's going to KO 3 crew dice. So I'm actually going to go ahead and KO River, Wash, and I'll do a Mao because he's not as helpful right now. Saffron will do, she'll put 1 person in the cargo hold, and then Badger is going to steal 1 supply for every Badger die. All right. Now I get to use my dice that are left in Serenity, so the 2 Zoe dice, to fight the bad guys. So here's what happens now. Zoe can deal 2 damage divided as I choose to any foes. So I'll pop this one and this one. So that's 1. That'll give me $200 temporary because I defeated 2 foes. The supply will come back over. Then she's going to use 2 to hit these 2, but I can't defeat all 3, so I have to be done flying. Now, what happens now is, if I don't defeat all of the enemies, I take all this money that I gained, it goes back to the supply. Any supplies I can still collect. Every 2 supplies is worth $100. The mission that I didn't complete will just get discarded, and then the turn will go to the other player. Had I defeated all the enemies, I would have had a choice. I could either lay low, which means I'm basically done. I'll take my money, do everything I did here, get my supplies, and then just give the next player their dice. Or I can keep flying. I would take all the dice that are left in the supplies and the cargo hold, anything that's in Serenity comes back, and then I reroll all of these guys, and I'll be fighting them with the 3 dice that I have left, or however many dice I have left. So that's that. So let's go ahead and go to the second player's turn. So this player effectively has $300 on their first turn. So next player, they're going to do the same thing. They will roll all the dice. Just roll these first. All right, so we got Nishka, Badger, Saffron. We'll roll the passenger. So we got 3 rivers, and then we'll roll these. All right, and here's what we got. All right, so now what we're going to do is we will re-roll if we want to. And I'm going to re-roll all of these, and I'll re-roll these 3 because they're the worst. That's fine. Badger's fine. I like that. Then we get more rivers. All right, then I can re-roll Wash. I'm just going to re-roll Wash. Is that Mal? And Mal. All right, there we go. Now we're going to lock everything in place, which we have done right there. All right, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 crew members. So we can pop 1 bad guy. We'll do that. That gives us $100. And we didn't roll 4 or 5, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, now we'll get a mission. So the other player will get a mission. They need 2 Badger hats and a supply. And it has Bushwhacked. So what that means is, if I don't complete this mission, I have to end my turn, which I'm not going to do. So basically, I'm just going to try to get as much money as I can get here. All right, so now we'll use our dice. So River can deal 1 damage to each foe. So she will do 2. We'll do that. Okay, so we did that. Get $100 because we defeated Saffron. And then Kaylee will do this. She hits 1 bad guy for 1 damage, and then she will also move 1 die from the KO pile to the cargo hold. So we'll move in a River die to the cargo hold. Okay, it's too bad that I got that Bushwhacked because I had some great dice. So that's going to be the end of my turn because I got a Bushwhacked and I couldn't defeat it because I didn't have a supply. But had I not been able to go again, I would have had all these dice to be able to be used here to fight these 5. So I would have probably kept going. I would have kept flying. But either case, I get $300. And that is how the game's going to play through 3 rounds. At the end of the game, every 2 supplies you have is worth 100 points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. I don't know what happens if there's a tie because it's not laid out in the rule book. So just shared victory, I guess. So that is how you play Firefly Shiny Dice. Let's go up the top, see what you think about it. All right, well, that was Firefly Shiny Dice. First, I want to talk about some of the components in here. And this game comes with 2 mats. I don't really know why it comes with 2, because you can just share the mat across all the players. But it's awesome. It's like a little mouse pad. Has all the respective spaces for the dice and all that kind of thing. Just, I like it. So two mats. Not much to complain about with the mats. It also has custom dice, which I appreciate as well. And all the dice represent the characters the characters in the show. So Zoe has her blunderbuss. Wash has his dinosaur because he has a little dinosaur. Mao has his gun. Jane, the Jane hat, of course. And Kaylee has a strawberry. And that's cool. And there's also the crew dice, or the passengers, which River is like the telekinetic wave thing. Book, Shepherd Book. Simon Tam, River's brother. Doctor, because he's a doctor. And Anara has an hourglass, which I don't really know what that means, but maybe you pay her by the hour for her companionship. I don't know. But they all have that. And each of the dice also have some supplies. So the passenger die has a supply side, and the crew die has a supply side. And I like the bad guy dice as well. Badger's hat, Saffron's lips, Nishka's glasses. Just pretty cool and thematic. So I like the production. The production is pretty solid. No complaints there. Now let's talk about the gameplay. So we all know that I love Push Your Luck. However, this is not strictly just a simple Push Your Luck game. This is a Push Your Luck game that has four different steps. Each step has sub points. It has all this iconography. It has steps that aren't even listed here, like the team bonus, which I almost forgot in the video, where if you have 4 different outlaws, you can hit one of the foes for 1 damage, or if you roll 4 or 5 different bad guys, all that thing, not laid out in here. So that kind of stinks that there's all that on here and there's still more stuff that's not included. Yeah. So Push Your Luck with a lot of rules. Not necessarily a bad thing, but let's talk about this. So I've played this game multiple times, and I realized in the overview that I made it harder on myself than I should have, because I was doing 1 crew die for every Nishka die, and it's really, if you roll 4 Nishka die, you still only get rid of 1 crew. So it made it a little bit harder, but it's still not going to change my thoughts, because I played the game correctly before. I just haven't played it in a long time. Normally when I'm playing a Push Your Luck game, I want to just roll some dice and see what happens. And the game that I think of a lot in this is kind of the game Dicey Peaks. I don't know if you've ever played that, but you're trying to get to the top of this mountain, and you're rolling these dice, and you're moving around the mountain, but you're also losing your oxygen. So you're trying to decide, do I want to move real far? Do I want to just take a rest and get some oxygen up? But the turns are like this. It's real fast. This one, however, my turn could take 10 minutes, especially if I take a turn and I keep flying. Then I keep flying again. If I take 3 turns, I'm going to be playing this for 10-15 minutes by myself. And you're going to be sitting there watching. So I would not play this at more than 2. You're just asking for a miserable experience, because you're going to have a lot of waiting and downtime, and that is not fun. Now, another thing I want to talk about, which I did just watch a video of the designer talking about this complaint that I have, so I'll reference that as well, is the mission cards. Now, during the game, you're going to be re-rolling all of your dice and the foes and all that kind of thing before the mission card comes out. So I may have 3 wash dice, and I re-roll them all, because wash doesn't do much other than let me re-roll. And then I flip a mission card that needs 2 wash dice, and it's a Bushwhacked. So now I didn't complete that mission, and I'm Bushwhacked. And even if I wanted to push my luck like I did in the overview, because I had amazing dice, I couldn't, because I re-rolled my dice, and now I can't complete this mission. So the designer said that was put into the game after Upper Deck purchased it, and his suggestion was either remove the missions from the game, or draw your mission, then decide to do your rerolls. That way you know what you need to complete your mission, which I think rerolling after I get the mission card is definitely the way to go, because those mission cards, yeah, they're super random for 1, and 2, I could get a Bushwhacked every single time. You may get one that gives you 400 credits every single time. So you've gotten 4 points off of your mission cards. I have to stop my turn, so you're getting to play longer just because of luck, and I'm hosed because I decided to roll some dice that were worthless outside of re-rolling, but then I needed them for the missions. That's just So next time I play it, I'm going to try with that variant and see what happens. So let's just talk about my thoughts on this game. It's a fine game. I enjoy rolling the dice. I enjoy fighting the bad guys, but at the end of the day, it's way too overwrought with rules, and the turns take too long for what this game should be. It should be roll some dice, kill some baddies, collect some points, move on. And it's just not the way that it is. Yes, it feels like Firefly. Yes, I kind of get the vibe of all the characters and what they do. I appreciate that. The theme is on point. I like all that. But sometimes I just want a game to go fast, and I don't want the theme to bog me down and make the game go slower than it needs to be. So I'm not saying this is a bad game. I'm just saying for me, it's not as highly up there as I would like for a push your luck game to be for all the reasons that I've mentioned. So that is Firefly Shiny Dice from Upper Deck. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.